You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. A near head-on collision put a halt to traffic along the Berwick-Nescopec Bridge Tuesday evening. According to police, a Jeep headed for Nescopec collided with a Honda traveling toward Berwick around 6 p.m. yesterday evening, shutting down the entire bridge to traffic for well over an hour. Both drivers sustained moderate injuries and were not carrying any other passengers. However, both vehicles suffered devastating front-end damage and had to be towed. The crash happened almost at the middle of the bridge during a fairly busy time of the early evening, as many cars either lined up on the side of the bridge to wait it out or had to detour through Mifflinville. The bridge was reopened to traffic just before 7:30 p.m. A third man has been charged in connection to a December 23rd armed robbery in West Hazleton. A man flagged patrol officers down just after midnight last Thursday near East Broad Street in the borough to say he'd just been robbed of his wallet and phone at gunpoint. After locating the stolen items, police arrested 23-year-old Derek Grulin of the Bronx and charged him with conspiracy to commit robbery, receiving stolen property, robbery, theft, reckless endangerment, and firearms not to be carried without a license, among numerous other charges. Police also charged and arrested 23-year-olds Kashawn Williams of West Hazleton and Angel Rosario of the Bronx for the same violations earlier that morning. All three men were denied bail. Police in Wilkes-Barre are looking for a man wanted on multiple charges. Andrew Carter is facing charges of aggravated assault, child endangerment, simple assault, and reckless endangerment. He's described as a black male standing at 5'5" and weighing 170 pounds. Anyone with information is being asked to call Wilkes-Barre City Police at 570-208-4228. The Department of Health and Human Services confirmed that it organized the 4 charter flights that landed at the Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport this month. The flights on December 11th, 17th, and 2 on the 25th that originated in El Paso, Texas, were filled with children, translators, and chaperones who boarded buses right after they got off planes at AVP. However, according to acting Luzerne County Manager Ramilda Crocomo, DHS officials told her that none of the passengers from the charter flights are staying in the county. An HHS spokesperson issued a statement that said the department has a, quote, legal responsibility to safely care for unaccompanied children until they can be swiftly unified with a parent or a vetted sponsor. A Tamaqua woman who was found guilty in a trespassing case will face an additional 10 more charges in Schuylkill County Court. Tamaqua police charged Judith Vakula with criminal trespass and defiant trespass back on March 2nd, and a letter was sent to her the next day saying she was not permitted on the condemned property at 237 East Broad Street. Records state that she was allegedly on the property on 5 occasions after the letter was sent. A jury also found her guilty back in October for a February 3rd incident, where police found her at the condemned property after being previously told not to go there. Vakula is in Schuylkill County Prison after being sentenced 1 month to 23 months confinement. A judge also granted her immediate parole after 1 month and ordered mental health treatment. State police at Schuylkill Haven are looking for 3 theft suspects who they say stole a wallet back in November. Troopers responded to the Weiss Markets in Pottsville back on November 2nd around 7 p.m. after 3 masked individuals entered the grocery store and proceeded to steal a wallet. Anyone with information is being asked to contact PA Crime Stoppers at 1-800-4PA-TIPS or by calling the Schuylkill Haven Barracks at 570-754-4600. A cash reward is also being offered if information given leads to an arrest. State police at Schuylkill Haven are investigating an attempted burglary in West Brunswick Township. Troopers say the incident happened on Sunday, December 19th between 1:30 and 2 a.m. at Schaefer's Motorsports on the Center Turnpike, Route 61 near Orwigsburg. The suspect was reported to have been wearing a yellow hazmat suit during the incident. Anyone with information should contact the Schuylkill Haven Barracks at 570-754-4600. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will not face criminal charges stemming from allegations made by two women. The Westchester County District Attorney said that although they found credible evidence to conclude that the alleged conduct in both instances did occur, no criminal charges could be pursued. Cuomo still faces a charge of forcibly touching in Albany County related to accusations by his former aide, Brittany Commisso, and is due in court January 7th. Millions of football fans worldwide are mourning the unexpected passing of one of the most influential figures in NFL history. Legendary Hall of Fame coach turned broadcaster and video game creator John Madden passed away Tuesday morning. Madden's highly successful coaching career and decade-long stint with the Raiders earned him a place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2006. He famously traveled to games in his Madden Cruiser and enjoyed a highly decorated 30-year broadcasting career that included 16 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Sports Analyst Personality, covering 11 Super Bowls for 4 networks from 1979 to 2009. He also became the face of Madden NFL Football, one of the most successful sports video games of all time, and was a best-selling author. John Madden was 85 years old. Coming up on WYLN News, more on the Wolf administration's recent visit to Shippensburg, plus the second straight bowl season facing COVID disruptions. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
It's me again, LJ. I'm 9 years old, and tomorrow will be rainy. Get your umbrellas out because it's about to get wet.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Jura's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in 610 North Broad Street, West Hazleton, 570-454-7229.
All of us at WYLN TV 35 would like to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all our viewers.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson who follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department, only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman on WYLN TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9.
The Shippensburg Area High School and Henry's Pharmacy provided a vaccine clinic for children, teens, and adults to get their first doses. WYLN's Mackenzie Ocker has the details.
The Wolf administration recently visited a vaccine clinic that is taking place at Shippensburg Area High School, where students ages 5 and up can receive their dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Children can now receive their first dose and get their second one on January 17th.
If you have children 5 and older, they can get vaccinated. For teens and adults, they can come in for their first, second, or booster doses today.
Parental consent is required for children to get the free Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine, which is recommended by pediatricians and is FDA and CDC approved.
At least 36 more children will get vaccinated, and there are doses available for walk-in appointments.
To provide vaccines at the school, Shippensburg Area School District is teaming up with Henry's Pharmacy so children are able to get the vaccine, along with teens and adults who want to get their first dose and booster.
The pediatric vaccine provides comfort for parents, teachers, pediatricians, and community members across the state. Knowing that we have a safe and effective way to protect our children from COVID-19 related illness, while also keeping schools safe and open for in-person learning.
The State Department of Health is still encouraging for all Pennsylvanians to get vaccinated.
When it comes to fighting COVID-19, we have made incredible progress, but we still have a long way to go. Fortunately, there is something we can do to protect ourselves and our loved ones. We can get vaccinated.
Reporting for WLN News, I'm Mackenzie Ocker.
Thanks, Mackenzie. The Holiday Bowl was scrapped as COVID-19 issues forced UCLA to pull out just hours before kickoff Tuesday. The Bruins were scheduled to face number 18 North Carolina State at Petco Park, the home of the San Diego Padres. The Holiday Bowl became the 5th postseason college football game to be canceled thanks to a surge in COVID cases across the country. The Hawaii, Military, Fenway, and Arizona Bowls were already canceled due to virus outbreaks, leaving teams without enough available players. And the Sun and Gator Bowls have had to scramble to find replacement teams for their games. Miami, Virginia, and Boston College all had to withdraw from their games. Wake Forest is set to play in the Gator Bowl, but will face Rutgers instead of Texas A&M as originally scheduled. Coming up on Girardville's News Choice, we have more on how to avoid frostbite and hypothermia on this Wellness Wednesday. Plus, leading the way, Part 3. Stay with us. But first, season's greetings from State Trooper Anthony Petrosky.
Hi, this is Trooper Anthony Petrosky from the Pennsylvania State Police, and from all of us at Troop N, happy holidays.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hey everybody, this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, tune in. Tara and Kathy, mother and daughter, are going to tell their story about how chiropractic got rid of her migraines, helps her scoliosis, and she doesn't need a hip replacement. So tune in, see what chiropractic's all about.
Did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Hey! Did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
Welcome to another edition of Wellness Wednesday. Thanks to our friends over at Lehigh Valley Health Network. Today we are on location at Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton with Dr. Kira Weaver, who is with emergency medicine. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Not too bad. So today, Dr. Weaver is going to be explaining frostbite and hypothermia and how to avoid both of them because we are in that cold weather season. Now, Dr. Weaver, I guess we'll just start off with the basics. What is frostbite and what is hypothermia?
Okay. So frostbite is basically when the tissues, of your skin become cold and they can actually freeze. That's basically the most, basic definition that we can go by for that. There's different versions of stages of frostbite. Like, for example, like it can start out where you just have like a numb, tingly feeling in your fingers, and then it can progress to like redness, blanching of the skin, swelling of the fingers or toes or other affected areas, and then it can actually look dusky, a little bit black in coloration, or like gangrene. Usually it starts with the numbness and tingling, and then it progresses until you get the swelling and then that like kind of dusky appearance of the skin.
What stage should someone be a little more hyper aware of what is going on and where to go at that point, whether it's get inside or we need to go to the hospital?
So if you have that numb and tingly feeling in your fingers or the affected, area, then you want to get inside, because frostbite can affect, it's very prone to affect your fingers, your toes, your nose, your ears, your chin, your cheeks, areas with thinner skin that we call basically kind of not as related to our core, like our chest, and abdomen. So those areas are affected typically first. When you start feeling like that, you want to get inside and try to warm. And by doing that, you don't want to do things like, no hot water, directly on the skin, maybe a little bit more if you're using any water, maybe more lukewarm, or you want to do rewarming with a warm cloth, not necessarily a heating pad or directly in front of a fire, things like that, or hand warmers are good. And see if that improves. Now, for more significant findings, such as if you have that dusky appearance of skin or swelling, or it looks like there's blisters, or you have blanching of the skin or redness, any concerns like that, then you do want to come seek emergency medical care.
So we talk about frostbite, and a lot of times with frostbite may or may not come hypothermia or the risks of hypothermia. So I guess we could dive into the stages of hypothermia, what to be aware of, and when to do the same thing that we would do with frostbite.
So hypothermia can be very mild, okay, just a few degrees, less than what our normal body temp is, which is a little bit below 98. This is more based on your entire body being cold instead of in frostbite where it may be an affected hand or foot. Or your nose. This is more, global everywhere. So, the first thing is you want to remove yourself from the cold. The other thing is if it is more severe that people are out for prolonged periods and in the cold for a long time, where they are with lower temperatures, changes in mental status, basically people that are confused or maybe unresponsive definitely need medical care immediately for that. And so there's some ways to prevent that from happening. So basically making sure that you're dressed appropriately for the cold. They recommend wearing loose fitting clothing, not real tight clothing, things that wick moisture away. So the first thing is your base layers are going to be some kind of synthetic material that can wick, sweat and moisture away, followed by more thermal layers that are either a fleece or a wool, things like that. And then your top layer should really be something that's wind and water resistant, regarding your coat. Covering exposed areas that are at risk for frostbite would be a good way also to prevent hypothermia. So things like wearing a hat, or a hat's the best thing. I mean, ear protection's good too. In addition, neck gaiters, scarves, those are great things too. Mittens or gloves, those also protect and prevent hypothermia. The other thing is watching whether you have alcohol consumption can actually worsen these effects. So basically. That can increase confusion, falls, being outside in prolonged periods of time, things like that. The body doesn't handle as well, so you have to be careful, in the cold weather regarding alcohol consumption.
we talked about what you would experience if you start to notice someone experiencing symptoms of hypothermia, or you kind of look at someone's hand and it's like, hey, that's kind of looking a little dark and a little blistered more than it obviously should be. What's some advice that people can think back on?
So you definitely want to get them to the ER. Like, if you can't take them yourselves because maybe it's someone you come along, you come across, or, it's something that, like if they're like altered, or when I say altered, like confused or not acting themselves, or you don't want them walking on frostbite feet, things like that, you should call for EMS.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Weaver, for squeezing us in to talk a little bit about frostbite and hypothermia and how to avoid all that.
All right, thank you.
And thank you, everybody watching out there. Remember, it is cold outside. I mean, you've looked out the window, you've been outside, you've got your big parkas on. It is cold. So be sure to follow these tips and tricks to avoid frostbite and to avoid hypothermia, and obviously avoid having to go to the emergency room in this cold weather. That's it for Wellness Wednesday. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson who follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department, only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
We all need a midweek pick-me-up, and WYLN TV 35 is your home for good news on Wednesdays. All our good news stories will be printed in the WYLN TV Pennies Classified Good News Bulletin, distributed throughout the community and digitally posted on WYLN News Facebook page and on our website. If you have good news to share, contact us to be featured in our special Good News edition. Good events, good people, good jobs, all good news.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Paul D'Angelo is leading the way again into part 3 of this week's series.
And welcome back, folks. We are joined once again by Paul D'Angelo of Mission Autism Clinics. Today, we're going to be asking about ABA therapy. Mission Autism Clinic practices ABA therapy. I guess, is that the correct terminology, practices? But could you briefly explain, I mean, for me, I know what ABA therapy is because personally, I have a nephew who undergoes ABA therapy, and so I've learned more about it as the time has gone on just to understand it. But could you explain the mission of MAC and how you guys practice or go with ABA therapy and how that helps individuals?
Yeah, absolutely. So ABA therapy is applied behavior analysis, which has been used for decades as a therapy for many different modalities, but specifically for autism, it has been scientifically proven to actually, improve the outcomes of children that have autism. So we've, it's not something new, but we are very passionate about ABA therapy and what it does for our children. So what ABA therapy is really the core behind it is positive reinforcement. So we're working on everything from social skills to language to behavioral issues. So when a child is trying to improve on those skills, we reinforce it with positive things that the children may enjoy, and that really is a reinforcer for them to understand, okay, when I do this, I am rewarded. So we really work on that, and what we do at our facility is we meet with the family, go through an assessment with them on what challenges they have with their child, because the spectrum for autism is pretty large. Yeah. So we really dig in and spend a couple hours with the parents going through some questions, and then we spend a couple hours with the child doing a functional behavioral assessment where we're actually seeing them in an environment to be able to assess what we're seeing. After that, they go back and our board certified behavior analysts, our BCBAs, they go back and write an individualized treatment plan based upon what they learned from the parent as well as what they learned from the child. And they go back and write that plan, have a meeting with the parents a couple weeks later, sit down and make sure that they understand the goals that we've developed for the child and what tools we're going to use during our therapy. Get their agreement and sign off on that this is the things that they want to work on and see improvement in. And we lay out 6-month plans and we set goals. And as the children master those goals, we're able to update them and increase them so that the child's not consistently working on something that they've already mastered. So our staff is always reevaluating where the child's at. And if they're not making improvement, there's things that we can do to tweak, what we're doing that the child may be more receptive to.
Absolutely. Personally, for me as well, I've seen great improvements with ABA therapy in my nephew. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks. Join us back tomorrow for part 4 as we continue to learn more about Mac and Paul D'Angelo. Thank you.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page, YouTube page, or at WYLNTV.com. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.